250 RF L50-5E1W. 4 ohm, and underneath that C1703. Here are the two speakers side by side. Yes. The dust cover is a little different. The mounting holes are in the same spots. Let's see if I can peel the sticker off. Is it easy to peel the sticker off? No, not really. We are ready to install the speaker. Now, I took this apart a couple of weeks ago and I left it open. So, originally I tried to remove the metal chassis, which it's secured on the top with these two screws that go all the way into the chassis, but then it still wouldn't come out. So then I opted to leave it in, and I bought a small screwdriver so that I could go in there and get these last two screws out of the speaker. Otherwise, the taller screwdriver just wouldn't fit, and you would have to pull this case out. But I decided to leave the case in, or the chassis in. I sort of felt that they glued it. I'm not sure if they glued it or if they used adhesive tape or something, but I didn't want to rip all of that apart and have to figure out how to put that back together. And it could, the case, it could become more rattly at louder volumes if I pull it all apart. So it was easy enough just to remove the speaker that way. Now, the real trick is, will I remember which screws go where? Because it was a little while ago since I took this apart. But I'll probably be all right. So we'll see what happens. Now be careful not to get the magnet too close to the cabinet, to the chassis, because I don't want it to get stuck. And as it's quickly accelerating towards all the electronics, I don't want to break something. Okay, we've landed, so it's all right. Okay. So this is these screws, I know it's these because I remember the little washers on the end here. And those are regular machine screws. There's actually a lot of machine screws with this cabinet, which is good. Much better. I suppose I should test it before I put it all back together. What if this speaker makes a stupid sound, huh? You can see on this speaker here, it's actually indented, the original. The screw was put in so tightly that it actually made a little dent. Maybe you can see from this side too, a little bit of a funny dent. So that made me think that maybe when it was installed, yeah, it's this way over here too. You can just, when you run your finger, you can just feel it going down. Yeah, it made me feel like the housing simply got warped on this one, and that was the only problem. But who knows? It's hard to say. Yeah, right here, the back of my hand is right against this transformer, and you can see the cabinet lifting up each time I'm twisting. So there's just barely enough room, even with a short screwdriver, to get this screw in. That's the worst one. But it's mostly these two top screws up here that you'd have to take this off if you didn't have a short screwdriver. I'm going to tighten it less than I normally would, because I think, at least for me, it's more common to put way too much torque. All right, the connectors fit. That's really good. Okay, yeah, for me, it's more common to put too much torque on things, unnecessary torque. All right, I don't know. Should I just give 1/8 of a turn on each of these? The worst that could happen is a screw backs out and falls into the cabinet somewhere. In which case, if I had some Loctite or maybe some RTV, that might at least prevent the screw from flying around everywhere. But I'm going to live on the edge here and just leave it like that. It's in there fairly firm, but not ridiculously tight. But they might have just done it ridiculously tight on this other speaker, which may have caused the problem. Or maybe I didn't notice anything when I put it in, but maybe the holes are not aligned up quite right, and it's causing a natural distortion, in which case every time you put a speaker in here, the frame will get distorted, the speaker frame. But yeah, I'm just going to have to live on the edge here. Now, this top part, I might have just screwed it in lightly. Yeah, I did. Okay. Because now there's a little gap forming right here. So somewhere there's adhesive on this top part that's gluing this metal chassis to the top. And I didn't get aggressive enough to just rip it entirely apart. To get the speaker out, I just decided to go get that little screwdriver, the short screwdriver. But now I want this gap to go away. Yeah, now it's starting to go away, so that's good. Now, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit weird to get this cover in. So I probably should have waited on tightening that up. Okay, so this is a great time to count screws. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 wood screws here. And I do have 4 wood screws, but I also have 4 very long wood screws. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4 wood screws, but these 1, 2, 3, 4 are machine. So it's all adding up. It looks like, as far as I know, I don't have extra screws. Okay. So now I've inserted it in like that. I pushed it in a little bit, but you see this gap. I need to pull it back. It was just a little bit funky to get this in. I'm going to try to pull it in. I don't know if that'll work. Oh, I don't know. It's a funky fit. Okay, I think that's helping. Yeah. Inserting these 2 screws at the top. That's pulling the metal chassis up that way. And then the holes are starting to align down here. All right. But it's still a little bit cockeyed. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the machine screw. Okay. There we go. Now it's lining up. I just kind of stuck the screw in there. This was pretty crude, but I just used the screw as a lever. Do this at your own risk. You might strip your screws. But now there's no gap on the bottom. Okay, so let's test it out and see what it sounds like. Alright, for the purpose of comparison, I've switched back to the onboard microphone of this camcorder because in my other video I was using that to show the noise that the old speaker made. Now I've already plugged in, I've already played through it, I don't hear the noise, but I'm going to play for the camera. So, what would happen before is you'd hear that really weird buzz. You can hear the buzzing sound when I plug the string. I can pick it up. So now the speaker is resting on my hands and you can still hear the buzzing sound. When you just hit one note. And you could hit the note really soft and you would hear this funny buzz. But it's totally clear. It might actually sound better than my non-broken orange amp. Turn it up here. So, I think it's fine.